Your Majesty, I implore you, reconsider this expedition. Do not risk everything on this venture.
Picture this. It is 1578, a battlefield in Morocco. The ground is soaked in blood. 15,000 men are dead or dying. And in the middle of all this chaos, the most powerful king in the world has simply vanished. His enemies searched every single body on that field for hours. They found nothing. So they did what winners always do. They celebrated, they laughed. They divided his entire empire among themselves. But here is the part that nobody talks about. That king may have been alive, watching and remembering every single face that smiled at his funeral. If this kind of story stops you cold, hit subscribe right now. Every week I uncover the darkest secrets in human history. Stories powerful people spent centuries trying to destroy. You will not find this anywhere else. Now let me show you how deep this goes. Sebastian became king of Portugal when he was 3 years old. His father was dead. His mother had abandoned him. And before this child could even speak properly, powerful nobles had surrounded him completely. But they were not there to protect him. They were there to use him. Every single day from childhood, one idea was hammered into Sebastian's head. God had personally chosen him to lead a holy war against North Africa. His tutors said it. His priests confirmed it. His advisors repeated it, until Sebastian did not think like a king anymore. He thought like a soldier on a mission from God. And the tragedy is, nobody around him had the courage to tell him the truth. The truth was that Portugal was completely broke. A century of building the world's first global empire had drained everything. His own grandmother, one of the most powerful women in Europe, got on her knees and begged him not to go to war. Sebastian looked at her, stood up, and started packing his army. In the summer of 1578, Sebastian sailed to Morocco with 17,000 soldiers. It was supposed to be unstoppable. What happened was an extinction. The Moroccan Sultan had been waiting. He knew European soldiers in heavy armor would collapse in African heat. The battle lasted less than 4 hours. 15,000 Portuguese soldiers were dead or captured. 3 kings died in a single afternoon. And Sebastian, the man who started all of this, simply disappeared. No body, no witnesses, no final moment. Just gone. Now ask yourself, on a battlefield where 15,000 bodies were found, how does a king in royal armor vanish without a single trace? When the news reached Lisbon, Portugal shattered completely. Sebastian had no children, no heir. Spain moved in immediately. Within 2 years, an empire that took a century to build was gone, absorbed, erased. But in the streets of Lisbon, ordinary people refused to believe he was dead. And then the pretenders arrived. Over the next 60 years, 4 different men walked into Portugal and announced, "I am Sebastian. I survived. I have returned." The first was a simple peasant with no proof. Thousands followed him anyway. Spain executed him publicly within weeks, but killing him made everything worse. Because now people whispered, why would the most powerful empire in the world execute a harmless peasant? Unless they were afraid of something. The second pretender knew things he absolutely should not have known. Private conversations inside the royal palace. Names of servants who had been dead for years. Spain captured him, tortured him, and discovered he had been coached by someone with direct access to the real Sebastian. That person died in prison. But before he did, he said something investigators tried to bury forever. He said, "I was not training him to pretend. I was helping him come home safely." Now here is the part that serious historians cannot fully explain. The third pretender appeared in Venice. He spoke Portuguese with the exact accent of someone raised inside the Lisbon royal palace. He described the palace room by room with perfect accuracy. Portuguese nobles who had personally known Sebastian were brought to expose him. They came back silent. When Spain captured him, they found old documents in his belongings, written in a hand that analysts said was consistent with royal Portuguese correspondence from the 1570s. Spain destroyed every document. executed him publicly, and sealed the investigation for 100 years. Think about that. You are the most powerful empire in the world. You have already won. Portugal is yours. So why, 60 years later, are you still hunting men who claim to be a dead king? You only fight that hard against a ghost, when you are not completely sure it is a ghost. Here is what historians will quietly admit. The body supposedly recovered and returned to Portugal years after the battle. The identification was never fully verified. The witnesses who claimed to see Sebastian fall, their testimonies contradict each other in ways nobody has ever explained. And there is one theory that has never been fully dismissed. What if Sebastian made a choice on that battlefield? What if he saw everything collapsing and in that single moment decided, enough, strip off the armor, walk away, let the world bury him? Think about what he was escaping. A broken empire. Advisors who had controlled him since he was 3. A war he started because powerful men had filled a child's head with fantasy. What if the most powerful king in Portugal simply walked away from all of it? We will never know for certain. The documents are gone. The witnesses are centuries dead. But here is what we do know. 15,000 men died because of one king's obsession. An entire empire collapsed because one man disappeared. And for 60 years, ordinary people kept believing he was coming back. Maybe they needed to believe it. Maybe the idea that someone could just walk away from everything, from power, from responsibility, from a life they never chose, felt like something every one of them secretly wished they could do too. Or maybe somewhere in the quiet back streets of Venice, a man with no name and no crown was living a very simple life, watching ships sail past, knowing the whole world was searching for him. And finally, for the first time in his life, feeling completely free. Now I want to know what you think. Died on that battlefield, or escaped and disappeared forever? Tell me in the comments right now. I read every single one personally. And there is one piece of physical evidence that Spain tried to destroy, that most historians have completely ignored. That changes everything about this story. That video is already in the works. Subscribe so you do not miss it, because I promise you, it is worth the wait.